Giv.to, we've got Michael Marinick. I always bounce that, but Marinick. He demoed last night at Tech Cocktail along with Giv.to and Healthy Works. And just, I guess I could give you the mic, huh?
Yeah.
There you go, take it away. 5 minutes.
Thanks, man. So I'm Mike Marinick, founder of Giv.to. We're a social engagement and analytics platform, primarily targeting political campaigns and causes at the moment. So what we try to do is make sure that campaigns and causes can engage constituents wherever they are, including shared social spaces where most of the traffic exists right now, where the conversations are. And what we found is when you do that, you can engage people with real-time social insights that transform the way campaigns can interact with constituents, because most of their data is often 2 or 3 years old in the status quo. So I want to start with a very simple use case. A lot of times what you'll see is organizations sharing content with users. Often these are links to news stories, maybe an endorsement of your candidate, so sharing all sorts of stuff, go ahead. And a candidate where a user will follow that and see an article and be inspired, right? But what happens when they're out of your web space and on someone else's web space? They get distracted. They get other ads, they get other links, they go on to other articles, and even if they were motivated to donate in that moment or buy a product or whatever, you've lost them. They're out of your space. So we see the problem more broadly speaking is that social engagement can't be measured because it goes where your Google Analytics isn't, on other people's sites. And it's very time consuming. You have to come up with the content, you have to share it. A lot of times campaigns will make these landing pages. It's really a mess. So what we've done is taken a simple model that has worked for companies like Dig and Facebook, using these bars, embedding them in the links that are sent, and we've basically made it available to any cause and let them customize it and embed their own content within that and style it in whatever way they want, so that wherever their links go, their engagement activities, their conversion activities travel along with those links, which is especially important when you consider viral content and how the whole purpose of viral content is for it to spread many orders of magnitude past the initial source. So broadly speaking, we think of this as distributed conversion. Currently, everyone uses social media to get people to come to their sites, but you lose a large number of people in that process. So instead we say, no, send the conversion opportunities out to wherever people are. And this works very well with donations, petitions, but it could work with any kind of product or any kind of conversion activity. And this also gives the opportunity to leverage the best content that exists out there. And what we found is often when you read an endorsement in the newspaper, that's much more valuable than someone's own blog post because it comes from a validating third-party source. So simply, here's an example of our product with one of our customers. We have this great article that this organization wants to share about banking being horrible or whatever. And what we say is engage that supporter in line right against that content. And here you have a connection, you have a specific call to action that's related to the content that's being provided, and the opportunity to take action right there in that moment. The other really powerful thing about this is then instead of just using your bit.ly to measure clicks or views, you can actually measure conversions. And you can measure those conversions within a social context, understanding user social graphs, and understanding the particular types of content that have motivated users to take that action. So you can say, these types of articles, or this video on YouTube is the most powerful for getting people to sign this petition. So what we found is that there's a huge impact when you do things this way. The first impact is you save a ton of time. Instead of having to create landing pages, create blog posts, put all these action items together, you can just shorten links in a standard that's already accepted. People are familiar with the bit.ly use case. They do that, and then they're able to share content much more frequently. They're able to get much more frequent touch points, and those touch points have conversion opportunities. And we've also found from our early customers that the conversion rates are much higher because it exists in a context which is very powerful. That is the best content that's available from authoritative sources wherever they are within the social context that people are already talking in. So more broadly speaking, some of the features that our platform offers is custom URL shortening. So here you have the dscc.me. That's mapped onto our service, so we let people use their own URLs. And we also do custom branding of the action bar. So the bar you saw before was our standard, and for a premium fee, we'll build it for whatever they want. We also allow people to distribute content, send it out to their networks. We also let them schedule that content and suggest content that's best and most effective based on conversion rates in the past. So you log into our service in the morning, you see a bunch of content recommendations. You can schedule that to go out throughout the course of the day with relevant action items, and you're kind of done for your social engagement for the day. So some of our customers that we're working with, Senate campaigns, congressional campaigns, campaign committees. Most of our early target focus has been in the political market, but we also have some other commercial and nonprofit customers as well. And that's it.
We're going to go to reverse order this time, just to switch it up. Everyone's going to get all going off there, but go ahead.
So that was a great presentation. I particularly enjoyed the win a free iPod slide. The question I have is, as an actual mechanism for distribution, understanding how this stuff gets created, but what actually enables or will allow someone who's one of your clients to achieve distribution out to third-party sites on the web?
Yeah, so we just integrate with a lot of the APIs that already exist. So you will attach a Twitter account, whatever you want. It's kind of in the co-tweet model. So we think of it as kind of co-tweet with engagement. So you attach your social accounts that are connected to your social profiles, and that will distribute them. We also include tools to increase viral distribution, such as share on Facebook, things like that. We also share. And because you're able to do that now, and send it in the context of the page, but in the context of the cause, where you're more likely to find alignment because that was the source of the content, then those mechanisms are more powerful.
It's really great. Could you speak to the economics for the payer in this case? So what does this compare to in effective cost? Is this as expensive as search marketing? Is this comparable to an ad network targeted on cause?
Yep.
Where do you fit in the ecosystem?
So one way to think about us is, if you're thinking in terms of ads, is that we're super highly targeted ads because they're within a conversation and a relationship that's already established. So for price points at the moment, we have simple tiered subscription levels on a per month basis, which there's some discounting, but everyone pays in the range of $100 to $500 a month. And what we are growing into is some really advanced segmentation features, so that you can say, these are your Twitter followers that like your healthcare stuff. These are your Facebook fans that always are active when you send out something about this. This kind of content works really well. And our ultimate goal is to be able to integrate that with the Catalyst, sort of the database providers on the back end, so that the data that's actually operationalized in a business, because if you send out an email newsletter or you send out a normal newsletter, right, that comes out of databases that aren't actually interfacing with the online world. And that's a huge problem because people are spending time and money on social media, and yet none of that data gets into the business operational element. And what's fascinating about being able to track conversions in a social context rather than just clicks is, along with that conversion data comes the data required to match the activity that goes on in the social with the traditional business elements. So what we want to be able to get into is make sure that all that data goes into your traditional CRM systems, so that you're able to say, not only on a census level block of data, does this person probably have this income and probably support these issues, but yesterday he gave money because of a Talking Points memo article about a banking legislation. And that really transforms the way political campaigns or any company could react. You could imagine a very similar use case for JetBlue, sharing an article about a new destination in the New York Times travel section. You know, book your trip right there and develop real rich information on what your followers are doing online.
Sean, you got something?
I think it's really interesting, right? Because I think particularly focusing on conversions in these other contexts, and I haven't seen any great social media analytics. I wonder if you've had conversations with PR firms at this point. Obviously, campaigns are great in being in DC, but it would strike me that if I knew that getting an article in the New York Times helped my conversions twice as much as getting it somewhere else, I might change my PR strategy.
Yeah, so in general, I think, so what we've done at a conceptual level is think about the conversion, rather thinking about it in terms of the web page that it's on, making it as portable as possible so that you can collect data on it in a social context, exactly as you're saying. I think the applications are very broad for that. As a small team, we're very excited to explore an opportunity like that. I think that's a great example. I gave the JetBlue example. There's all sorts of other, any number of other applications. So we're looking forward to doing that. The political campaign market, since we have established relationships now with the campaign committees, they're able to very efficiently do sales kind of for us. And as a small team, that's like a tremendous asset for us because we just can't do sales right now, basically.
As a follow-up, how many, so the clients you put up there?
Yeah.
Here's how many total clients have you guys got?
About 20.
That's great.
Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's all we got. Give it up for Giv.to.